Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the top tier of racing here at Invictus Racing League. It's time for our third round of Season 16, the Hungarian Grand Prix. My name is Webbo, here to take you through tonight's race, joined alongside, as ever, by JP. Good evening, JP.
Good evening, Webbo. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you, and hoping that you are going to be well enough yourself. We have some new drivers joining us after passing their induction races. Take us through, if you would, JP, how things have changed since the last time we were on stream.
Yeah, absolutely. I see a few post-race penalties applied last week, primarily to Burmeister and Luke. Burmeister dropping to 7th in the end. Luke, no real change to the last classified finisher, but what that done for the standings was meant that Cameron Searle took second place, so he leads by just 1 point from Stinos, and that 1 point came from a fastest lap at Azerbaijan for Cameron Searle. So 28 place, 27 at the top. Speed Queen ended up with a podium in the end. She's third with 14 points. Burmeister is on 13, Ghost 10, ARL 8, Tirak 6, joint with Nathan and Luke Bailey. MDJ, Reshka, both on 5. Ryan is on 2, and the remainder yet to score. Constructors-wise, Ferrari have 40 points. AlphaTauri have 33, so it's close between them. Alpine on 20, McLaren 15, Haas 8, joint with Mercedes, Williams on 6, and the remainder yet to score. But, as you say, well, a few new names for Tier 1. We have Ricky Maru, who's just leaving the pits. He did start in Tier 2, but I think personal commitments have meant that he's not able to complete Tier 2, so he's a reserve, I believe, at the moment for Tier 1. We have the oddly named Cat, still in the pits for the Haas team. Emir Durakovic is in the Aston Martin. As we go further down, we have Jasper TH. He's in the Haas. I think that covers everything.
Yeah, good stuff, absolutely. We've got the Mercedes out on track, but also the lone Aston Martin of Emir. It looks like we're slowly becoming a PC top tier division here. We started life as a predominantly PS division, and slowly but surely the dark forces are taking over. We've got dark clouds over the circuit for qualifying, although I am reliably informed that's only a 25% chance of rain appearing. And it looks like Emir is about to tackle the first lap. Are you up to a track guide, JP, at this early stage?
Let's go for on board with Emir. Here we go. 4.3 kilometres of Monaco with the wall slightly further away. Down towards turn 1. Hit the brakes at the curb, down to third gear, get it tucked in. He's gone early into fourth to get the traction, still doesn't get the traction as it goes out. Through this flick right through the DRS zone, turn 2. Long off camber left-hander, got to be careful. Back end will try and skip out on you. Turn 3 should be flat in these conditions, which it is. Up to the infamous turn 4. Got to be careful. Can't take too much on the outside curb, don't want to take too much on the inside curb either. Then into 5. Again, don't touch the curb. 6, 7 chicane. Nail the first curb, hit the second curb. Use as much exit as you can as you want to open up turn 8 and 9. This section is very much normally single file. Through 10, 11, just a hint of a lift, touch of brake just to make the front bite. Down towards turn 12, hit the brakes, third gear, 4 for Emir. Using all the curve he can. Up to 13, a long left hand. You've got to be very patient on the throttle, fourth gear out to get the traction. And the final corner, turn 14. He's gone for a tight line. There's about 2 or 3 lines for that last corner. He's gone for the tight line. On his way out and across the line for a 1:15.7.
Yeah, tidy time, pretty tidy lap without that first corner exit. Here comes Ryan de Piemen, a 1:16.536, just putting Emir's lap into context. His teammate, Ryan's teammate that is, Ricky Maru, coming through to finish off his lap. That's a 1:25, that's a very slow lap, so he's obviously just taking it steady. We've got a McLaren, is that Ghost? No, it's Reshka on track at the moment. Ghost has gone second, a 1:16.103 as Reshka goes wide through turn 11. We'll see a lot of that, I think, in tonight's coverage. One of the Red Bulls has crossed the line. That's Michael Lutker. The other Red Bull coming straight back into the pits, not enjoying whatever setup decision he made. New admin of the server tonight, JSP, crosses the line into 4th place, 1:17.152. So that 1:15.7, JP, looking very good indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. As Resha comes along for a 16.9. And we've got a house of characters in Baldock for his lap. MDJ coming up to the end of his lap. Now, I do have a little weather information. It looks like it's just going to be cloudy for the next 10 minutes in this session. Air temperature 25 degrees at the moment, track 32.
Weatherman JP on the pulse tonight. Well, welcome everyone that's joining us already. Welcome to Tirak, to Atsu, Kodota, and to Perna. Welcome one and all. I hope you're looking forward to an exciting race around Hungary, and the odd flash of sunlight coming across the car of Jasper here as he finishes out his lap. Not the ideal entry line then, possibly to the final corner, so some work to do to get the best out of this, and he gets 3rd place, 1:16.355. So the top 5 at the moment: Emir, Ghost, Jasper, Ryan de Pieven and Tirak, your top 5 as things stand, but the drivers very close to one another within a second. But at the moment, Emir some distance away from the rest of them. I'm hoping that Cameron will have some competition, as he's now on the circuit, JP, and he's going pretty well in the first sector.
Yeah, showing a purple in sector 1. The interesting thing about Jasper, I will point out, that was done on the medium tyres. That's 16.3, so he's got a lot of time yet to come in the soft. But Cameron's sort of just come through this middle sector, very technical. He's clipped the curb too much and he's round. Yeah,
that is, I don't know if that's pressure showing or just the conditions at the moment. Unusual mistake from Cameron, but it's early enough in qualifying for him to rectify it. Possibly the star of the show last week in Baku was Speed Queen, who came so close to her first win in a long time, and she comes through turn 12 now, just finishing this one out. Possibly slight change of helmet, the similar colours but a different livery design she's gone for, as she shaves that pit lane entry and hugs the inside line of the final corner for a good exit. Stretches to the line for P6, 1:16.632, and Lee Harding says that curb, I wonder if that's a scene of problems for him. We don't have anything like a Whiffen's wall or anything like that this week, I presume, JP, from the first 2 sessions of the week.
Well, we could do. I mean, he did hit the ball after turn 4, but he didn't quite DNF from it, so it was like, well, can we call him in? I think he also actually went off on turn 11 as well, where Cameron went.
Well, Cameron just straight-lined the entry to turn 6, I think, turn 4. I think he was just avoiding a driver who he suspected was on a fast lap, so that looked almost like a steering wheel disconnection or power down or something, but I think it was just avoiding contact, so knowing his way around the circuit well. Here is Martin with a 4 and a 1. He's in 14th at the moment, having not set a time in the Red Bull. We'll see what he manages through sector 2. Just the merest hint before turn 4 is the sector update, because we won't know how that relates until later in the session. 10 minutes remaining of qualifying before we get underway with our half-distance race around the Hungaroring. It's a modern classic, the Hungaroring, scene of a great number of memorable moments in F1 history. Martin goes wide through 11, like I say. I'm expecting that to be repeated over and over again tonight. Looks like we've got some fairly low grip conditions. Is that a sign of low temperatures at the moment, JP?
Could be a couple of things around here, because it depends what you're looking for in your setup as well. It could be that Martin is just running those slightly lower wings to have the top end down the straight to his 11th. There's two very different ways you can go at Hungaroring. You either go low wings and just deal with it through the corners, but keep the pace straight, or you go high wings and use that extra downforce through the corners. Both are as quick as each other. But also, as we know, overtaking is not easy around here in the first place. But if you do have the extra grip, every chance of a mistake and doors opening.
So it was a good lap from Ryan de Peven. He gets himself onto the second row, P3, 1:16.151, and Ghost is in second and challenging now for pole position here. The only way is forward. He can only gain one place provisionally. Let's see, but there's a good gap, a good 0.4 of a second of a gap for him to try and plug and pin Emir's fantastic start to the session. I saw. I think Pernat said that Emir was going to do well, and Kadota said he'd be on the podium. That was nice and tidy from Ghost in the first sector. Purple first sector for Ghost. Be wary though, JP, of taking too much out of the tyre in the first sector.
Yeah, it's mainly the second sector you've got to, you kind of want to use the grip at the time as this Reska into it. Yeah, it's an awkward one here. You don't want to take too much of the first sector, but in theory you shouldn't be able to take too much out because there's only a couple of corners. In reality, is Murray coming through the last corner. The passage in front of him. The 10th for Ricky Murray, which is not a bad time at all.
Well, 3 out of the 4 tenths have been grabbed by Ghost in the through the second sector, so 1/10 to go to get himself into contention for provisional pole position. Crosses the line, a 1:15.771. Just 200ths, just shy of 200ths of a second slower than Emir, who is back on track again, and unfortunately for Ghost, going even quicker and very loose coming through turn 4. I don't know if that's lag or from my PlayStation end of the PC driver. I did see a big lag jump on board, riding on board. I think it was Cameron earlier. So I don't know whether to believe my eyes exactly, JP, but Emir looked very lively on the corner at that point.
It wouldn't surprise me if he did have a bit of wiggle. I mean, it always looks more spectacular outside of the camera than it does inside, I can tell you that much. Some of the moments I've had in the past, I've looked back in the camera and went, how have I managed to save that?
Yeah.
And you look on board, it looks like an absolute nothing moment. But Emir just coming through the last corner. He has got some good omens from this week as he puts in a 15.5.
Yep.
Because both races this week have been won by Aston Martin.
With a 15.486, Cat goes fastest from way down in the grid order. His teammate was spinning on the way out of the final corner, JP, but Cat managed to slot in a provisional pole time there. So it is Cat, Emir and Ghost, with Cameron Searle down in 4th, but I'm sure with plenty of time to find still on board Cameron. Here is Tirak, experienced hand in the top tier racing here for PlayStation in the previous season and many seasons before that, but he's heading through the final 2 corners now. We've got a Red Bull very slow on pit lane entry. Tirak's on his way in as well. I'm just looking for a driver who's actually pushing it. Speed Queen possibly the only one.
I don't know what Ryan's up to. Ryan's on a just has come start.
Starting, right.
That's Martin at 2. Martin is also starting his latest attempt. Yeah, just saying it's a good omen being at Aston Martin because this week both Tier 3 and Tier 2 races have been won by that green machine.
Excellent, excellent. So he needs to hold up the side here. He's on his own though. There is a new teammate for him, but I don't think was able to attend tonight. So we are expecting a new teammate in the sister Aston Martin. It's good to see a fuller field represented despite recent losses as Ryan de Peven goes towards the pit path right and left chicane. Reminds me of the top of the hill in Imola, that chicane, as he comes very close to bumping over the sausage curbs on the inside that you've got to avoid like the plague. Here is Ryan then, pushing hard, and he's 1.5 tenths slower than he's been before, so I'm not expecting fireworks. Speed Queen currently going half a second faster than she's been before in P5, though definitely one to watch. Sorry, excuse me, she's only just starting this lap. That was obviously her out lap, warming up.
No, but she did finish her lap, she went up to 5th.
Ah, fantastic, okay. So now warming, just cooling the car down. I think we've just got Martin, is it? He's invalidated and on his way in. So with 4 minutes to go, JP, we can take breath for a moment and enjoy the look of the field. It's Cat from Emir Djurakovic, then Ghost, Cameron Searle, Speed Queen, Tirac, Rinderpeven, Jasper, JSP and Michael Lutka, the top 10. Reshka, Ricky Maru, MDJ and Martin with a little bit of work still to do.
Yeah, I was expecting a little bit more from Jasper. Because obviously, that's 16.3, I think. That's still his time for mediums, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, having fitted the new softs for his next run. It's going to get very busy. It's a short and narrow circuit here. It's going to be very busy within the final few minutes. We're waiting to see the first of our drivers coming out of the pits for the next run. I think it's going to be one of the Red Bulls. Let's have a look. Is it Michael Lutka? It is. So we won't have the difficulty of a completely empty track. Now the pit lane's starting to empty with a McLaren, an Alpine and a Mercedes on their way out as well. Michael Lutka, though, in the Red Bull with the first of the final runs to go. Good evening to Tinnis, to Lee Harding and Luke Bailey, who's working nights this week, unfortunately, so couldn't join us, but he's sneaking a peek at his phone on YouTube during work, it seems, which who can blame him? Got to keep plugged in. But predictions for pole would be very useful here, as I hear JP back on the mic.
Yeah. Why not watch? If you can't race it, why not watch it? That's my motto.
Definitely.
I think we'll have to keep an eye on Jasper here, because we're still not quite sure exactly how fast he can go on those soft tyres. Although he's leaving it I know it's a short lap, but he's leaving it considerably later than everyone else. And he's got to be careful that he's going to end up getting caught up in traffic on his lap at the rate he's going. So it'll be interesting to see what his decision is there.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to be Ghost from Reshka from Emir with Pass much later out of the pits. Michael look at the first one, but I think this one is going to be between Emir, Ghost, Cat, Cameron and possibly outside bet of Jasper. So I'll try and focus perhaps on the guys in turn. Ghost just ahead of Emir on circuit, so we'll see him through the first sector and see what his lap is looking like. He's just behind him, 0.2 of a second behind him after the first runs. So goes through turn 4, which is a nothing, turn 3, sorry, it's a bit of a nothing corner through there. He's slightly quicker through sector 1, but Emir is massively quicker, 1/4 of a second in the first sector already. Goes wide though, out of turn 5. How much time will he have lost there, JP? I don't know if you happen to be watching him.
It wouldn't have been a lot. I mean, I think he's got to consider himself more lucky that he didn't get invalidated on that.
Yeah.
That was a very, very wide line.
Absolutely. Well, Ghost then will get an update on his lap as he comes through turn 11. He goes wide and wipes out. So definitely not going any quicker. He's third at the moment. Emir has set a purple middle sector, only gaining very slightly on his first sector that was strong. He's well on target here for provisional pole with Cat well behind on the circuit, so he will potentially get the pole position here for a moment at least. He's following behind Reshka on track. Emir goes to the line. Reshka gets 8th. Emir claims the provisional pole of 1:15.218. And how is Cat doing? Well, he's 0.10 of a second faster, but bailing. Wow, okay, so it looks like we've got the front row, and Martin's been disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. We just got a quick flash of that on the entry to turn 11 on board with Cat. Any changes in the background? Well, Cameron's only just starting his final lap, so we can enjoy that one on board. How about that Jasper? You've been watching him, JP, at all?
Not yet, he's just going on to his lap now.
Oh, super, okay. Well, I'll keep an eye on Cameron if you want to keep an eye on Jasper, but Speed Queen also on the bubble here. So will Cameron get himself into the 1:15s? His first sector is 1/4 of a second faster than he went before. Speed Queen, she's 1/2 a second. Let me see. She is 3,500ths faster than she's been before. So Cameron probably the one to watch. Ricky Maru has retired from the session. I don't know if that was on track. I think it was. Look, it's on the entry into turn 10. There's another car having lost it coming through that section as well. Wow, Jasper. So we won't know his pace until the race. Cameron Searle goes faster. Purple middle sector. 0.4 to the good this time. Still a way to go before he can claim the front row, but he's on target. Emir is going no quicker at all. He retires from the session, but Cameron Searle is going into his final corner now. Cameron from 4th on the grid. A 1:16.1 is what he managed before. A 1:15.499 and makes it onto the second row in P3. Just pipping Ghost there at the death of the session. Ryan in 5th. Speed Queen, where is she? She's coming into the pits. And Tirak goes for the line, and he won't go faster. So we will have Emir, Kat and Cameron, our PC triplicate. Then last season's champion, Ghost in 4th. Ryan de Peven, Speed Queen, Tirak Greshka. Jasper, Michael Lutka, MDJ, JSP, Ricky Maru and Martin are the order of things following the session. And I don't know if we're expecting anybody to have joined through qualifying. Hopefully not. But Kat says he did 3 laps and had 2 spins. So I wonder if the guys are suffering low grip conditions tonight. But it'll be reset and then be slightly different conditions for the race, I imagine.
Yeah, well, I've got a prediction that it's going to be light cloud, I think, is what my systems are telling me. And it looks like it's going to be like that for pretty much the whole race.
Good stuff. Well, Emir on top from Kat, Denmark from Belgium, from the UK, Cameron Searle and Ghost, and then Ryan, Speed Queen, Tirak Reshka, Jasper, Michael Lutka, the top 10. Jasper qualifying on the medium, saving a set of softs here potentially for the race. MDJ, JSP, Ricky Maria, Martin make out our top 14 as we wait for the drivers to get ready. Michael Lutka is cheering on Tinus. I'm not quite sure why, because Tinus isn't racing and Michael Lutka is.
I think that Tinus and Michael Lutka are
they mates?
Being Dutch, they're massive Red Bull fans. Both of them in the Red Bulls this season, as is their other compatriot Jolly Jollig in Tier 3 with Tinus. Yeah, so I think there's a bit of friendly back and forth, because I think Tinus has said come on the Red Bulls. I think Michael Lutka is returning the favour to Tinus. Maybe go and bring on the support.
Yes.
You never know. It's the Dutch nation can be quite crazy at times, but in probably the best possible way.
Martin is backing him up on that one. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this before, but what are the mechanics playing at in the pit lane?
I'm not quite sure. I wonder if they're a little bit cold and they're all just stood in the sunlight to warm up a little bit already. Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
It is very, very odd, and I don't know if it's new. I'm not sure. I've never noticed it before. But anyway, the sun is out, so that they are catching some rays on the beginning of the race. We will have a formation lap, thankfully, for the commentary side of things. I don't know that the drivers particularly enjoy the formation lap, but I really do, because I like to get everything set and ready. Right,
it's almost like there's a national anthem in the background that we don't hear, that they're all standing attention to.
Yeah. I wondered about playing Scarecrow Tig or something like that. It's just that arms out pose that is making me making me a little confused. Let's have your predictions in the audience for tonight's podium, if you will. Kudos if you get it in the right order. There's all to play for tonight. I couldn't call it with Cameron down where he is in, I think that was 3rd position, Ghost in 4th, newcomers at the front, and some who haven't shown their hand fully yet either. It should be really intriguing for the Hungarian Grand Prix with us tonight.
Yeah, and the thing with the Hungarian Grand Prix, as we've already seen, people making mistakes, clipping curbs they shouldn't be clipping.
Yeah.
The race really isn't over until it's over, and the amount of times you can around this circuit, you can be 10 seconds in front, and then all of a sudden a safety car appears. Bang, completely different race at that point.
Absolutely.
I mean, luckily for these guys in Tier 3, I think it's Tier 3, the only tier so far this week, had changeable conditions. It went from a dry to a wet race. I don't think these guys are going to be getting that sort of race, which obviously always makes things a bit spicier to watch, but as a driver, obviously you kind of just want a set plan of attack.
until it all goes wrong and you end up off the pace. Then you're crying for a safety car. I think we've got a big mixed picture when it comes to tyre selection. They're almost alternating through the grid, so that's going to be fun to keep track of. What were you enjoying in terms of tyre delta and tyre time delta through the first 2 races of the week, JP?
Well, hard to say for the first race. It's fair to say because a lot of people made the tyres last, the mediums and hards last until the wet conditions.
Right.
But generally speaking, it was noticeable yesterday that the mediums were quicker than the hards. But the problem around here is always going to be the overtaking. Track, a bit like Monaco, track position really is king around here.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, obviously those on the hards now will have the tyre advantage later. It just depends whether they get the crossover correct, come in at the correct time, so they don't lose too many, if not any, positions at all.
And if you had to you had to commit as to what you felt was the correct time, what would you call it? Just as the cars come to the grid for each of our start tyres.
For me, I think you're looking around, for the hard runners, anywhere. I mean, what's the strategy saying? 16 to 21 laps on a medium tyre. That is about right. So if you're starting on the hard, you're looking around probably laps 19 to 21.
Oh, good stuff.
Sort of area.
Well, we're on our way to getting the cars organised onto their grid positions. JP will watch from the back and see if there's anything going down in terms of accidents and incidents, but we'll keep an eye on the battle at the front here. I'm desperately trying to get a good camera angle and I can't get one. The 5 lights are on. We're ready to go for 35 laps around the Hungaroring, and it's drop the clutch and go from the start. Emir with a decent grip launch, but Cat straight off into the lead and looking down the inside line, and right round the outside tries Ryan de Pieven. Will he have enough room? He will indeed. Wow, up from the the third row of the grid, Ryan de Pieven getting all of them round the outside into turn 1 as the cars slowly organise themselves through turn 2 and towards turn 3. It's Ryan de Pieven, Cat, Ghost and Emir who's dropped down to 4th place. JP, what about from the rear?
Yeah, fairly clean. Just Martin, who had a spin through turn 1. Everyone just sorting themselves out. Jasper down to 10th at the moment. He got passed by Ricky Maru. So not ideal start for the Haas, but he is starting on the hard compound tyre, so they're trying to get some heat into them.
It looks like it's definitely...
on Ricky Maru. Sorry, Ricky Maru just made a horrible mistake through that little piff-paff chicane. Ran a bit deep all over the curve and has ended up down from 9th to 13th.
It looks like the hard runners have struggled away from the start here. Emir and Cameron not able to really make use of them just yet. Of course, the race should come to them later on, especially when the medium runners are fresh out of the pits. That seems to be a real weak point for that strategy. But Ryan de Pieven will lead them away by 0.5 of a second from Cat, from Ghost, and then Emir, Cameron, Tirac and Speed Queen, the Alpine teammates, next to each other on the grid, as Tirac was very close to Cameron Searle at one point on that previous lap, but isn't going for it.
MDJ just down the inside of Michael Looker through turn 1. DRS not even active there, so possibly a bit of use of ERS. They're still side by side. 3-1 down towards 2 we come. And Michael has got the inside, but it turns to be the outside for 3. So MDJ is going to have that one sealed off and delivered as they head up towards turn 4. Michael Looker does have a little look, but decides better of it up towards turn 4.
Actually, great driving from both of them there to cooperate around turn 2. It can be done, but you do need to have an eye on the fact that the race is long and far from run just yet. Ryan de Pieven leads from Cat and Ghost as they come through into the difficult technical section of an already difficult and technical track. Ryan ahead by 0.3 of a second, but Cat slowly but surely staying with him and gaining on him, and we have a battle right at the front of this one. Ghost hanging on here, and he'll be pleased that his race pace so far is not hugely different to these newcomers. So Ryan, what a start he made, going all the way around the outside, and Emir picks up the fastest lap now on lap 3. DRS has not been enabled. Now it has, but not until the next DRS deployment line, which will be the start-finish line the next time round at the start of lap 4. So let me see, anybody else? We've got a real slipstream of battles developing here, JP, all the way down the grid.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone wondering why there's no DRS after turn 1, because you do have a zone after turn 1, is because the detection point is just before the last corner. That detection point is for both DRS zones, which is why no DRS opening through that after that first turn. But yeah, everyone's kind of just settled in. Ricky Maru's made a mistake somewhere. He's now being passed by Martin, who's already picked up a 3-second time penalty. Everyone just seems to have just settled in here, got into a groove, and is maybe now thinking of a long run through here, or maybe either doing undercuts, overcuts, or just trying to keep their nose clean.
If I were doing this, I'd be trying to hang on to the car through these difficult sections, but these guys very much know what they're doing, so they are they're thinking constantly about the strategy, about tyre management, watching their temperatures, as Cat gets a tighter line going through the final corner. But as JP mentioned in the build-up, that is a legitimately different line. You can have many different lines going through here. Cat might have a stab into the turn 1, but I think he's waiting for turn 2 for the second DRS deployment. Let's see them on the way out, as that camera angle still hasn't improved. The Mercedes gives him the inside, but Cat not brave enough on the brakes at this early stage. Of course, the car fat with fuel, so you don't want to take too many risks at this point.
No, and the problem for Cat here is it almost looks like he wants to work with Ryan to build a gap to Ghost.
Right.
Because obviously, any mistake that Cat makes, whether that be just a wrong line down into turn 1, Ghost is still there just to take any sort of open opportunities. So, to a degree, it looks like Cat wants to work with Ryan, but at the same time, he doesn't really want to hang around too much because it might present the opportunity for Ghost anyway.
Absolutely. Emir is hanging on here, and he's in a great position. He and Cameron, both on the hard tyres, have closed those gaps, and it's now less than a second between all of our top 6, which are Ryan, Cat, Ghost, Emir, Cameron, and Tirac. Tirac just slips out from that 1 second window, but a very, very close battle brewing here. It is advantage Cat in this situation because all the other drivers behind him have got DRS in common, whereas Cat has got the profit, and he goes down the inside, and that was a little on the clumsy side. I don't know if maybe there was a turn-in from Ryan de Peven, but that was indeed contact. JP, how did you read that one?
It's quite a late... It's a little bit of a late move from Cat. I mean, it was front wheel to rear wheel contact, so was he really, I mean, I'd only go for halfway alongside the car ahead of you, and I don't think he quite was. So I think Ryan had every right to going in for that apex, but I mean, that's probably going to end up in the steward's office later. So I guess they'll be the ones that ultimately decide. Martin picks it now at their second set of type penalty.
Good news though that Ryan saved the car and is still in this race. Ghost overtook both of them in that contact. Cat was very slow out of turn 1, and Ghost didn't need a second invitation. So I don't know if Cat was hoping to try and give the place back to Ryan, or just was slightly distracted. But he was it was not exactly like a elbows out and come what may kind of situation. He was clearly caught up in an unexpected contact. He's now got to try the same move here potentially on Ghost, who might have been watching that one and thinking, I won't give him the inside for sure. But Cat not on the offensive just yet. Ryan in 6th place is bringing himself back up to speed, and he's just behind Tirac now, and no way through for the drivers into turn 2. Looks like follow my leader going on at the moment, JP.
Yeah, I mean, Cat's idea there was correct in terms of trying to nip up the inside, because obviously it doesn't matter if he was ahead of Ryan going into that corner, he'd still have that DRS for the second zone. So in reality, you don't really want to wait for that second DRS, and you want to do it in the first one because you'll get the DRS for the second zone, so you can pull away. As Ricky Maru has crashed at turn 3, and that brings out our first safety car of the evening.
Absolutely. Now, strategy-wise, this it's a little bit early for the drivers to have an obvious decision here. It's potentially, I don't know, whether you feel like you could get rid of the hard tyres, get a free pit stop, but at the moment you can't change mediums for hards, really. Into the pits tries Ghost, and late decision from Cat comes in. Looks like everyone's going to make it, JP, except for Tirac, who goes round, and Ryan de Peven, who quite fancies all those track positions back. Thank you very much.
I'm very surprised at the hard runners coming in, because it is definitely too long, unless they're thinking of there'll be more safety cars down the line.
Right.
It's far too long for these mediums really to be going. I mean, put it this way, in my experience around here, it's about 2% ish on the hards, with about 3% on the mediums. So, and the most limiting tyre is that rear left, with the traction zones. So the hard runners, they have a small chance. So they have a chance of making it to the end, because it's just under 30 laps. So you'll be just about under that puncture threshold. But the medium runners, or those that have gone on to mediums now, I think there's definitely another pit stop in their future. But if they've got 2 sets of mediums available to them, obviously this one included, there's every chance we'll see them back in the pits on a potential later safety car. That has to be the way they're thinking.
Yeah, unless of course we're talking about Speed Queen. But we will see. She's in 8th at the moment on fresh medium tyres. Ricky Maru said had no traction, didn't know what that was all about, couldn't even take turn 3 flat out. So very much it seemed like the drivers were struggling for grip in qualifying, and that seems to be the case, at least for Ricky Maru in the race so far. It's lap 7. Tirac leads somehow. Yes, Tirac leads after not pitting from Ryan de Peven, and Jasper too. All those front 3 have not pitted. Jasper in a good position here, got a nice flexible strategy on the car. Then comes the pitted drivers of Ghost and Cat, who have put hards on, so that will help Ghost that Cat is on hards too. But Emir on mediums coming out of the pits, he should be pretty strong on the first couple of laps of the restart. The safety car will stay out for this next lap, so we've got some time to take stock. Cameron is in 7th, Speed Queen in 8th, Reshka in 9th, and JSP is in 10th. So there's time enough to like the video tonight, follow us on socials at Invictus RL, at WebberRed5, and hit the subscribe button on the channel if you will. Reminder that there are other races on the channel through the week. Tomorrow there will be the realistic performance race, where the drivers will drive F1 2022 spec performance cars, and then the equal divisions start again on Monday with tier 3, where I'm sure JP is starring, on Tuesday where JP is calling the action, and then on Wednesdays every week here with us in the top tier.
Yeah, and it's an interesting one to note for the equal performance on leagues next week, because it is sprint week.
Ooh.
It's equal performance leagues getting their first of 3 sprint week rounds, which obviously, if you follow the RP league, they do sprint race and feature race, so we're going to get a similar sort of thing for the equal performance leagues next week at Austria, which is always going to be good fun. I will warn you as well about the safety car. It's been called out. It's been called in nice and early this time. The first time on the last couple of races, they got called in just after the penultimate corner. So
yeah, plenty of warning there for the drivers. Remember, the hard runners, Jasper, Ghost and Cat, will struggle in the first couple of laps after that safety car, especially Ghost and Cat. I would imagine Jasper will have gone through a heat cycle on the hards from the start of the race, but Tirac will lead us away. He will decide when it is best to launch the car. Usually middle of the apex of the final corner is a good place to go. In fact, it goes just after that point, and it looks like Ryan is nice and close to him, so we should have a challenge here for the lead of the race, as the rest of the drivers coming through. Jasper, Goes, Cat, all line astern, and there's very healthy gaps between the drivers at the moment. No one playing too many silly games after the restart, JP.
Yeah, it was a bit awkward for those, because obviously some of the drivers effectively restarting in the middle of a hairpin, never the nicest place to try a restart, especially when you're on stone cold tyres, or at least probably not up to temperature at least. But yeah, it was, I think I catch it. I don't know why. He's going to start to open the door here for Emir if he's not careful.
There's a possibility into the chicane, but yeah, you don't want to be too tempted into that one. Martin picks up another penalty, unfortunately, disappointing the audience who are here cheering on the Red Bulls, and Martin in particular. But Tirac leads from Ryan, from Jasper, Ghost and Cat, and you can see him here chomping at the bit behind him.
Yeah, he's looking to the inside, still can't quite get the overlap on Cat. And I think with these sorts of temperatures where there's just a bit of light cloud, as you've seen earlier, once the hards get warmed up, it does become easier for them to defend. So the earlier the better here for Emir, as he looks to almost switch coming out of the bunch, but again, just can't quite find enough purchase.
No, he'll be tempted to go for a move on the brakes, and he does go for a move on the brakes down into turn one, and that was very brave. You can see how much more grip he had. They'll still be side by side though, and it looks like Cameron is going to go through from behind him. He's going to get the outside line. Oh, it's very, very tight. Cat is hanging on beautifully here. They're going to go side by side through turn 3, and now Cat has held on, JP, and he's going to be in the pound seats come turn 5 and holding on as the Aston Martin is hung out to dry at the exit of turn 4. Great sequence.
And he's going to have a little nose into the pit path chicane, but can't quite do it. That's phenomenal racing. I mean, there was a bit of contact between Cameron and Emir in the middle of turn 2, which just unsettled Emir enough to allow Cat back up alongside. Great driving from all involved, but not quite. Oh, as Emir gets on the curve and almost loses it.
That was a big one.
Cameron, who doesn't need a second invitation, that's for certain. Although, switch back from Emir, as Cameron goes wide, gets twitchy on the curb.
That was some wise old head driving there from Emir, who knew that Cameron would be narrow into 11, and was able to take the switchback. But he's really struggling, is Emir, coming out of the final corner for traction on the medium tyres. JP, what's all this about?
They're not fully heated up yet. They're not up to temperature. There's no way those are up to temperature. Cameron now has a slide out of turn 1, and here comes Emir once again with a switchback.
Tremendous.
Side by side into turn 2. Can Emir hold it? No, he can't. Cameron will hold on for now, but they've lost 1.4 seconds to Cat, as I think Ghost is trying to force Jasper into fake, but he's got Cat who's caught up to them.
Yeah, be planning Ghost and Cat to not use too much out of the tyres as well. It's going to be a really delicate balancing act that they've got to do if they want to get these hards to the end of the race in good condition. Because it's lap 11 of 35. Those tyres are 4 laps old, and as you were hearing from JP earlier, marginal to be performing well to the end of the race. But up to temperature, I expect now for Ghost and Cat as the battle continues in the midfield here. It's very unusual to be calling the race with Cameron in the midfield, but such is his current strategy. He's got ahead of Emir, Speed Queen watching and waiting. But these guys now closing up to Cat and Ghost ahead. Ghost right on it, and there's a lot of movement going on in the braking zone there. Ghost with full of confidence on the tyres. He'll get the inside line, better grip through the corner, but closed out by Jasper, who is driving a very wide Haas at this stage, JP.
Yeah, and further back, MDJ making a move on Reshka using the DRS. Done him just as they entered the brake zone for turn 1, so that was nice in the AlphaTauri. This is starting to get a bit crucial here for Ghost, because obviously Cameron and Emir showing the grip of those medium tyres are already on the back of this group. Remember, they lost all by the shot in 1.5 seconds, and within a lap they've already closed that back up to 3/10. So this is not what Ghost and Cat need, is to be stuck behind Jasper.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, they're pulling away. Ryan and Tirac working together quite well now for their own interests here later in the race. Ricky Maru, another update from him. He said he tried a whole new setup with 0 race practice, and that's why he was struggling. Have you seen some in JP?
No, sorry. No,
okay.
I was just...
no problem.
Oh, actually, now I do, because Cameron made a little bit of a meal through the last corner.
Yeah.
Almost opened the door for Emir. But unfortunately, back to DRS train territory down the main straight as Ghost has another look on Jasper down the inside.
This looks good.
This time he gets it done, and will Cat follow through? Yes, he will. So that's good news for Cat and Ghost. They've now got a car between them and the medium runners, and they're going to hope that Jasper can hold up Cameron and Emir as long as he can.
Yeah, Jasper not making life too difficult for his teammate there, who will thank him, I'm sure, after the race, unless they're in a party themselves. Ghost and Cat, though, will be very close here, and they're on the same strategy, remember. What can Ghost do now? He's been released from being blocked, and he can see the car, a little bit of daylight to the car in front, see his own braking zones a little bit more clearly as well. The track will look a little bit different to him after the previous few laps, but it is so tight in the midfield here at the moment, JP.
Yeah, you can see how impatient Cameron's starting to get here. He knows this is important. He knows that this if he wants this strategy to work, as Martin picks up another set of penalties. If he wants this strategy to work, he knows he's got to get past Jasper here, and ideally he needs to get on the back and past Ghost and Cat. Because I think he fully well knows he's going to have another pit stop. And unless he's hoping and praying for that safety car, if that doesn't come, you have to feel that Ghost and Cat are in the lead position. As with DRS, here comes Cameron down the inside. Looks to be pretty normal overtake into turn one. Job done for the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, Jasper trying to time the switch back there, but it wasn't really on for him as an attempt here from Emir down the inside. That looked like it was about to be some contact. I believe it was, in fact, because Emir has turned round. That was a slightly desperate manoeuvre. You can understand why he would go for it, and he's picked up a 3-second penalty for just running off track safely for a safe rejoin, and that's got to hurt the old pride. But that means Cameron is released. Jasper has now to defend from Speed Queen, but Tirac is still leading from Ryan de Pieven. They are not comfortably ahead as Ghost has at least caught Ryan, and I imagine, JP, those medium tyres will be well past their best for the lead two of the race at the moment.
Yeah, although with the bit of couple of laps of safety car, they're probably still okay.
Yeah,
but, yeah, definitely not as nice as the hards are going to be. I was from Emir, that was a little bit audacious into turn two, I must admit. All he's done is he come out of turn one. He's basically tried to cut back inside and brake as late as he dares, and unfortunately just slightly too late.
Speed Queen down the inside of Jasper into turn one, and Jasper's just got no defence, and the work of that overtake is done in the exit of the final corner. Am I right?
A lot of it is getting the traction out of that final corner, which obviously with Speed Queen compared to Jasper now will definitely have more grip than Jasper at current phase, so that's obviously a much more helpful thing to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, generally speaking, it's how you set up the last corner, but to some degree it also depends what situation you're in. Because obviously if you've got a car ahead of you and behind you, you have to take a conventional racing line really to make sure that you don't get overtaken. But if you've got no one behind you, you're able to square the corner up, which basically means you go in slightly deeper, but you basically get the car straightened up a lot earlier, so you can get on the power earlier and drive out the corner. So you lose a little bit of time on entry, but you should effectively gain that on the exit. So again, it very much depends on what situation.
Just watching Cameron almost run into the back of Cameron here. And into the pits comes Ryan de Pieven on the end of lap 14, perhaps slightly ahead of schedule. It shows perhaps just how hard he was having to work to keep the hard tyre runners of Ghost and Cat behind him. Ghost gets DRS because they passed the detection line earlier. Cameron having a little look down the inside. Cat leaves him room to get it wrong. And that was some expert driving from Cat there, just to give that room at the apex, just in case the dive bomb was coming. But Ghost, Cat and Cameron super close to one another. Tirac will be due a pit stop soon. We think Ghost and Cat could run this to the end of the race if they're careful. Cameron, Speed Queen, unlikely, although I hate to say that when it comes to Speed Queen and tyre management. Tirac, 1.5 seconds. He's lost 0.3 to Ghost and Cat now in this previous lap, so the surest sign yet that he's either feeling the pressure or his tyres are.
Yeah, I mean, 15 lap of mediums, realistically 13 laps. They're still not going to be terrible, but they're definitely past the sell-by date. That's for certain. But Cat's still all over the back of Ghost, and you just wonder, Ghost is going to be vulnerable here.
Yeah.
He's got no DRS available, so will Cat look to make a move into turn 1?
Tirak comes in, so defending effectively his position against Ryan, who ended up down in P11, but with some clear air. So that's going to be an interesting one where Tirak comes out relative to Ryan. But we'll watch Cat, who has the first batch of DRS profit he has had yet in this race, with Cameron paying a watching brief just behind as well. Will Cat have the sufficient overspeed just to the short run to turn 2? Absolutely not. It is difficult there. Tirak still in the pits. He has come out of the pits now down into turn 1, and he's come out significantly 3 seconds ahead of Ryan, and they were much closer than that on track prior to Ryan's pit stop. So it looks like using those mediums that were extra lap while Ryan was on the hards has cost him. Ghost and Cat, though, we don't expect to be visiting their team again until the end of the race.
Yeah, and it's definitely a feature of this year's game, or at least the F122 game. The overcut can be very powerful. However, it kind of gets turned on its head as well. So you do the overcut because your tyres are warm, you've got grip. The person who's pitted, he's on absolutely stone cold tyres, not a lot of grip, so his outlap compared to your in-lap is always going to be, well, there's Cameron still looking all over the back of Cat. However, that gets turned on its head when you come into pit for your overcut strategy, because then all of a sudden you've got cold tyres as Cat.
Ghost is defending to the inside, doesn't want to give him the inside at all. Ghost faster at the apex, brake later, and that was pretty handy indeed. Cat trying it, but Ghost driving to the middle of the circuit, as he has every right to do. Cat has good grip around the outside. He's got the car significantly ahead. Will they touch? Cat actually bailed out of that one. If he hadn't have lifted, they would have been in the wall, and that was again really good racecraft, I think, from both drivers. Ghost making it very difficult to pass here.
Yeah, textbook defending that from Ghost. He knew Cat was alongside, however, as Cat has a big moment out of the pit pass chicane, as I'm forever calling it now. Just got on the curb, and the back end didn't want to know any of it, as I think that's Tirak gone off at turn 4. He's got going again though.
Oh, that's huge. That's huge. He was, of course, in the lead of this race a few moments ago.
But yeah, that's a very unforced error from Cat. Even in the circumstances of these four battling it out, but it looks like none of them have any form of rear end grip, which is amazing, really, because it didn't feel like that a couple of nights ago.
We haven't seen anything exciting in terms of the rear end from Ghost. Forgive my expression, that was sort of assembled as I said it, but no power oversteer from Ghost just yet. It seems to be one of only a very small amount.
Emir just looking down the inside of Resh going to turn 1. DRS enabled. Reshko's still having a little bit of a fight here as we come out of turn 1 down to 2. And Emir already pretty much out of ERS, which has not helped his cause. He gets a switch back through 2. Can he go around the outside of 3? Yes, he can. He sticks it there. Up towards 4. And he bails out just on the entry to 4, but he's going to have a run onto the outside of 5. He's going to have the grip around the outside here. He's going to be able to open up the throttle side by side into the pit-path chicane.
This is dangerous into the chicane, but it's so slow at that point that they had to cooperate. Reshko hanging on. Just important note there is that Cat just picked up a 3-second penalty and is alone in the top 7 with a penalty on the car. So the bad situation of losing a place to Cameron has just got worse for Cat. Now Cameron very close behind Ghost. On the last good laps he'll have out of the medium tyres, I think. The last tyre improvement he'll have over the hard tyres for a lap or 2 here for Cameron. 4/10 of a second. Looks like Ghost is driving with some good top speed here tonight, JP.
Yeah, not uncommon as Emir once again looks down the inside of Reshko. And this time, because both of them don't have any ERS to play with, The DRS was all that was required for Emir as he gets a second bite of it. Make sure to fend off the inside, and that is the move completed. And he's going to hopefully, well, in his eyes, he's going to hopefully start to pull that gap.
Yeah, it looks like he's got some performance under the car there on the mediums at the moment. Still another pit stop to make, though.
For Ghost. It must admit, it's not an uncommon thing for Ghost to run slightly lower wings than those around him. It is one of his traits. He's able to cope with the car.
And it works so well for him when he's leading the race. Of course, this is really the first time this season.
That was Cat. I don't know if you just caught that.
Yeah, I did. I don't know if that was that a glitch? It seemed to skip a little bit.
No, that was a definite moment from Cat. I don't know if it might have been accentuated a little bit, but that was a definite moment from the Haas.
Cameron's really never been closer. 3/10 on the way out of the final corner. Deploying some battery power here. Will Ghost decide that discretion is the better part of valour? He knows the car behind is on mediums. He's trying to cut back, but he's just not left the room. Cameron, big snap of oversteer. We always see that on the inside line on the exit of turn 1, and Ghost, well, straight back ahead. But that was just that tricky thing of going offline, JP, on the inside of turn 1 exit.
Yeah, he got a lot of steering angle cranked on through the corner, and the rear tyres just saying, no, I can't quite move the back end as much as you want without sliding. As much as you don't want. So, but means Cat's still in play here. Even with this penalty, Cat can still influence this result, which is a bit of a scary thing for Cameron, because obviously if Cat gets past Cameron, that helps Ghost. The question is though, if we've got a yellow flag. That's Ryan de Peven.
Oof.
He's spun round at turn 5. He's got going again though. Looks like no damage. Yeah, if you're Cameron, he has another twitch on the rear. Those tyres are not like
into the pits. Into the pits comes Cameron. Yeah. So not feeling confident. Ghost still has a good amount of ERS left here, so something to fight with. But he's struggling. He goes to the inside, but Cat with a little bit of a dummy dives down the inside line. Ghost is looking for that grip on the outside. Cat will be very cognizant of what he just saw Cameron do the lap before. He manages to secure the lead of the race then on lap 22. It has been enthralling here at the front all the way through the race so far, JP.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Ghost 4/10. Is it me, or is Ghost just not quite got the speed he had earlier on those hards? It's almost like, because of his lower downforce setup, as the tyres wear, it's almost like he just can't quite keep the pace in that car. Although I wonder if he is running higher wings or not, because he seems to gain through a little bit of that middle sector. It's hard to tell already, isn't it? Exactly.
It is. They're so closely matched for performance that we're talking about the difference of a blink of an eye usually in a single sector. Cat, though, in the driving seat here, although he's got a 3-second penalty on the car, it is early days. Other drivers could collect their third warning and first penalty, of course. Speed Queen decides not to go into the pit lane. We didn't see soft tyres going on yet, but it's early days for that. I wonder if that's Speed Queen's plan. She has a 1.7 second gap behind her to P4, so she's in a great position here at the moment. The longer she can stay out, the better, as Emir inherits 4th place from MDJ, who is pitting currently. So once Speed Queen and Emir have pitted for their next tyres, that's when we will have a better idea about where the race stands for the end of the last stint of this race. Ghost is in second, just struggling to stay within a second here of Cat, who has unlocked some performance here. Now he's got into clear air.
Yeah, well, I wonder if Ghost setup does not hand himself to these high wearing situations. As he continues to lose time, and Speed Queen right on his tail. But yeah, the question is, when does Speed Queen Emir come in? I mean, we could still see the hard runners into the pits.
Right.
There's every chance of that happening if they feel like the tyres are just nowhere near good enough, because if the tyres completely fall off the cliff, I mean, I'd rather be on knackered mediums than knackered hards. So you got to take your pick. So I wonder if some of the hard runners, whether they might take a small gamble, come in for soft tyres, right near the end, that is a possibility. But knowing the tier 1 lot, they'll be reluctant to pit.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And of course, the later a decision you make on a pit stop, the fewer laps you have left to actually do anything with any performance you've just unlocked. So it's a really tricky balancing act. They'll be on a hair trigger for a safety car. We've got some close racing here. Reshka's in the middle of it once again, with Cameron and Michael Lutka both filling his mirrors. The merest hint of a possible glitch, a bit of time lag there on the way into turn 2 on my screen at least. Cameron is racing hard here behind Reshka. Reshka just driving his line where he knows it's impossible to pass. Cameron going to try the outside move into 5. I don't think I've seen that one completed successfully, as Reshka will go into the inside of the chicane. Oh, Cameron barging his way through. No contact, but in no uncertain terms, planting his car on the apexes and saying, deal with it, Reshka. Cameron gets through. That was pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, good move that from Cameron, and it's absolutely required. Especially if the top 2 decide not to pit again, even though he will have quite the advantage right now. He's still got to get through the pack. Jasper, who's obviously out on a fresh set of mediums, he's in between Ryan and Tirak at the moment. He's very in close quarters with Ryan. He's possibly going to look for a move using the DRS coming out of the final corner. That pops open. What can he do down towards turn 1?
He'll have a half a chance here. He's got the inside line. He's given the inside by Ryan, who might be feeling a little bit bruised and battered tonight, especially if a Haas is coming at him down the inside into turn 1. It's a different car, but it's still going to make you slightly nervous. Ryan then losing out. Jasper up to 9th, Ryan down to 10th. He's on hard tyres though, but Jasper will have good tyres to the end of the race, as will MDJ ahead of him, and Cameron Sterling 5th. Question mark though for Speed Queen and Emir, also for Cat and Ghost, as to what sort of shape their tyres will be in at the end of the race. Ghost's mission is to stay within 3 seconds of Cat and not lose out to a charging Speed Queen, who I think on 18 lap old mediums is now struggling to live with the pace at the front. The gap has gone out to 1.5 seconds. I wonder if Emir is tempted to go in the pit lane. We have 9 laps to go of this race, plus the one that the leaders have just started. And a double wave yellow coming out of turn 12.
Tirak.
That is Tirak. Okay.
Tirak out of 11, so we've seen the likes of Cameron and obviously Darryl spin this week. We've got an interesting little battle here for 6th being produced, as MDJ is going to look to go on the inside of Michael. And down the inside he goes with those fresh mediums, or fresher mediums at least. So a nice move from MDJ. It looked like Michael was going to probably overtake Reshka, but didn't quite happen. I think Michael Lutka just ran out of some ERS, so he was unable to make the move. But MDJ making his way back through this pack, which is good for the Alpha Tauri team in terms of constructors.
Yeah, I wonder if Ghost has been just taking it easy at this early part of the
Speed
second
round.
stint. Oh, that's a very uncharacteristic error from Speed Queen. I wonder if that is an indication that the tyres are done and dusted. We'll see what Emir and Speed Queen do this time round, but you're absolutely right. I mean, that's pretty annoying for Speed Queen. Again, though, knocking on the door of the podium. Will she elect for the pits? Absolutely she will. So in she goes. I imagine that's into soft tyre territory now, JP.
It's close, definitely close to. I'd say for Speed Queen, definitely soft tyre territory. And it is soft tyres going onto the Alpine.
Excellent. Well, we've got 3-second penalties for both Cat and Emir. So
meanwhile,
this is
MDJ,
go ahead,
MDJ just going down the inside of Reshka at turn 1. DRS assisted as per previous.
Yeah.
But into the top 5 now for MDJ, and both AlphaTauris in that top 5.
Yeah, he's moving forward nicely. Reshka is in the thick of all the action, really, in the midfield tonight. Unfortunately, losing out in the last few times we've seen him. Whether he's saving some tyres for the end. But yeah, just to complete that thought about the penalties at the front, 3 seconds each for Cat and for Emir. is going to cause issues later on in the race. Speed Queen comes out into 10th position on soft tyres, but she's got an 8-second delta only, sorry, a 3.4 second delta to Ryan de Pieven's 9th place. That will, yeah, she's not going to get back on the podium, is she, all things being equal here?
You would probably say no to that, yeah. Emir's penalty, the question is, has he had any more warnings since he picked up? Because if he picked that up trying to just return to track safely, there's every chance he might be able to get that removed. However, if he's had subsequent warnings since, then that will not be the case. So, not quite sure on Emir's penalty for certain. Obviously, everything, once we get to the checker flag, everything's still provisional until confirmed by your coordinators, but yeah, in present day terms, yeah, both Emma with 3-second penalties and Cameron Searle gradually pulling the gap in.
Yep, so 7 to go, including the one they're on. Reshka is in 6th place here, still with mirrors full of another driver. This time it's Michael Lutker in the Red Bull. Cat leads from Ghost, although with penalties those positions will be reversed. Emir in 3rd place, Cameron Searle 4th, MDJ in 5th. We just saw him overtake Reshka. And then behind Michael Lutker we've got Jasper, Ryan de Pieven, Speed Queen, Tirac and JSP. Another case of what would have been for the Alpine team, who have both featured on the provisional podium through the race today, and are now down in 10th and 11th, unfortunately.
Yeah, I very much think
wow,
Speed Queen gets past Ryan.
That was quick.
I think that was in the tricky section of Sector 2, which is very impressive.
Yeah, that was quick
even
work.
With the group advantage.
I thought she'd be a while on that 3.4 second gap, but not at all.
No, I mean, she's on softs compared to Ryan's 12-lap-old hard tyre, so a very severe advantage in the favour of Speed Queen. As here comes Jasper to the inside of Michael Lutker. Again, Michael Lutker's got no ERS to defend, and it feels boring constantly saying this, but ERS is a massive weapon in the game. You have to be able to keep some for the end of the races, because as we see there, Michael Lutker, he might have had DRS, same as Jasper, but no ERS means no defence. And a yellow flag. That's Emir. Emir has spun it, and that I don't know if that's going to cause any damage. He's just reversed into the wall on the other side of the track. So
yeah, a little bit hot-headed retrieval possibly. Just watching from MDJ's perspective, but we didn't catch the actual action. So JP with the trackside reporting role there. Jasper in 7th is close on the heels of Reshka, almost pushing Reshka through this S's section in the middle of the circuit. Maybe Reshka just playing with where he knows he can defend and where he doesn't have to, but Jasper all over the back of the McLaren. His teammate Ghost is in danger here of slipping outside of that 3-second window as Emir has pitted. Has he? Yes, Emir has pitted. Right, so off the mediums, so not going any further into this race. That'll be a soft tyre 5-lap sprint. Here comes Jasper once again. Much better run now on Reshka, and that should be straightforward. Reshka doesn't really fight this one, and you can't really blame him with that overspeed.
No, there's almost no point really fighting that one, because you're always going to lose out in one way or another, whether that be on the entry to turn 1 or on the exit of turn 1 as you're trying to defend it. But interesting now to see the gap now, 13.2 between Cameron as someone else has gone off. That's JSP at turn 1. Yeah, 13 seconds Cameron to Ghost, 8-lap-old mediums compared to 23-lap-old hards, with coming up to 5 laps to go. It's a big ask for Cameron here to try and catch up to Ghost and Cat.
Absolutely. Well, just that one penalty to really worry about, but Ghost is worrying about it because it's his difference is now just 2.3, nearly 2.4 seconds, and he's got to hang on for another 4 laps. Let's have a little sneaky look, shall we, at this late stage at telemetry. Ghost is rarely actually having to deploy it, but he has got about 8 or 9% on Cat here, so he's cannily trying to recover what he can, but we do have a battle on our hands to the end. Ghost will definitely not be caught without any battery for the last lap. I can be certain of that one. But of course, he's got to try and keep the pressure on Speed Queen on Michael Lutker down the inside into turn 1. Very easy move for her with a better braking performance and better better grip on the inside as well. No problems coming out of turn 1 there on the inside lane either with the soft tyres. So she's up to P7 and not far to go to overtake Reshka as well. So she could be getting decent points out of this one. 2.5 seconds that gap at the front of the field. JP, who's your money on?
Well, I mean, if you're looking at penalties, you'd have to say Ghost, because of the ERS advantage right now. It's not a big one, but it's just enough to probably keep him within those 3 seconds. It wouldn't surprise me if what we're kind of seeing here with Ghost is he's not quite going as quick, just trying to save the battery a little bit more than Cat is.
Yeah.
Because you can, as Emma picks up a 3-second time penalty, so regardless of what penalty he picked up before, he's definitely going to be keeping that one. Yeah, it very much looks like Ghost is trying to use his ERS as effectively as possible. He's speaking about to make a move on Reshka. I think
so, but Reshka, whoa,
down the inside again.
Down the inside. I was riding on board, and that was an exciting dive. And Reshka just giving enough room at the apex. He could have turned in, but no real point to it. I have a vague memory that perhaps Cat was better at the latter stage of the medium stint than Ghost was in terms of pace. So I wonder if this is just the telling point at the end of the stint here, where Cat's better tyre usage is coming to the fore. But time will tell, of course. 3.5 laps to go for the leaders. Well, less than that actually, as Cat and Ghost are across the line now. So 3 laps to go with Cat, 2.6 seconds. Effectively, he's got a 4/10 of a second cushion to extend and still win this race.
There's Emir down the inside of Ryan at turn 12. Pretty easy move on those fresh softs for the Aston Martin, so it gets him up into 9th, but he does have 6 seconds worth of penalties that he needs to try and gap.
It's going to be difficult, even with the amount of laps remaining.
Not quite so hard if Ryan has a big slide out of the last corner like he just did.
Okay. 2.9 seconds, JP, at the front of the field. Let's just compare to the ERS, and it's actually quite even now. It's close to even at least. Well, I wonder, can Ghost win his first race of the season 16 after winning nearly all of them last season? He's got some stiffer competition this time around. 2.971 the gap opened up to there, and now it's 3 seconds. I wonder, can Ghost unlock anything in the final 2 laps? But Cat looks to be just about able to squeeze this one. 2 to go.
2 to go, 3 points the gap. It was quite a big difference. Ghost lost half a second on that last lap. Yeah, Cat on 18.8, which is quite substantial considering Cameron Searle's just done an 18.8 as well. So Cameron Searle's mediums have definitely tailed off, which is why he's not gaining as much. But I wonder if Ghost has made a slight mistake, maybe he had to lift out the throttle somewhere. Meanwhile, Emma's all over the back of Michael, just a little bit of contact through the last corner. This should be pretty done deal. He pulls out alongside.
Both got DRS though.
I think Emma just had a bit more ERS on the exit of the final corner compared to Michael. Now the grip comes in off those soft compound tyres. Emma, I think if Emma can get past Reshka here, he's got a chance of maybe keeping 9th position. But he's going to have to get past Reshka pretty quickly.
Absolutely. Cat and Ghost. There's a yellow flag. That was JSP retiring on the penultimate lap. That's a shame. He could have gone around and completed the race for us. But I wonder if that ghosted car will disappear or stay or come back out into the lead. It is going to come out and just complicate matters slightly. But this is the final lap of the race. Ghost is on 17% ERS and Cat has 5%. So it is possible that Ghost can get a few tenths out of that. This is the battle then. Let's join Ghost on board for this final lap. JP will keep us informed about what's going on with Emir, but Ghost trying to claw that gap back in again. He's not using any ERS in the first sector. That surprises me, because you want to put the driver in front under pressure, and you have very little by way of opportunity to deploy it through sector 2. So let's see, he's trying to drive as metronomically as possible through these sections. Tirak has picked up a penalty, but I think he's retiring. So let's focus on this gap at the front. Cat enters sector 3. Here comes Ghost then. Still no ERS deployed. Cat is going to have a breath holding wait at the line, but he's extended the gap out to 4 seconds. It looks like he's going to have enough. Cat comes through the final corner. Masterful final stint for him, and Cat is going to cross the line and win in Hungary. Let's see if Ghost can perform a miracle and find a shortcut. He cannot. He wins by 1.3 seconds. Cat from Ghost. Cameron Searle is going to come around the corner a few seconds behind those two and secure 3rd place. But a well-managed race there from Cat on his race pace. MDJ coming through the final corner now only to pick up 4th, so a 3-4 for Alpha Tauri, and Jasper making it a 1-5 for Haas. So fantastic response for them. Here comes Speed Queen picking up 6th place with a different strategy. Emir crosses the line. Let's see. Reshka gets 7th, Michael Lutka 8th, and then all the checkered flags were fallen on. I couldn't see anymore. But 7th place for Reshka. The win, though, for Cat debuting with us. He'll be over the moon, I imagine. The driver of the day, officially, to MDJ.
Yeah, no, fantastic race. Obviously, Emir did get past Reshka, but couldn't pull enough of a gap. He finished P10 in the end, so Ryan did pick up 9th. But yeah, that was very weird from Ghost. I mean, the fact he didn't apply any sort of ERS, unless the only reason I could suggest that Ghost didn't is potentially because almost everywhere through sector 1, sector 2, if you're deploying it, you're kind of always going to deploy it in the traction zone. And I wonder if he just thought the tyres were so worn out that if he tried it, the car might actually spin up with the extra power of the ERS being trying to put that on the floor.
Absolutely. Well, Cat is apologising in the driver room to Ryan for that incident at the start of the race. And of course we should probably put an asterisk next to this win from Cat. I don't know that Ryan is angry enough to try and appeal a win away from Cat, but it is a possibility, and if that were to occur, we would obviously update you at the start of next week. But JP, are you up to a standings read through for the end?
Yeah, so provisional race results from the Hungarian Grand Prix IRL TR1. It is Cat with his first race, first win for this season, followed by Ghost in 2nd place. A good comeback after last week's retirement. Cameron Searle finished off the podium with MDJ 4th, Jasper 5th, Speed Queen 6th, Reshka 7th. Michael Lutka finished 8th, Ryan in 9th, Emir Jurakovic in 10th. Meanwhile, Tirak, JSP, Martin, Ricky Maru, all unfortunately retired. Obviously, JSP and Tirak will be classified by the game, but not by IRL regulation.
Yeah, so really good, intriguing race there. Lots of action. We may get our normal visitor to the press conference, Ghost, in, and we may also get Cameron, because I know we managed to speak to him, although he was incredibly quiet last week, so we'll try and get him to speak up. I don't know that we've managed to work wonders and get Cat ready for podium interviews, but I'm sure JP will give it a go if we can. I can tell you though that Ghost is in the room already, and I'm sure keen to talk. Ghost, how was your race, and are you happy with that 2nd place? What kind of a mindset are you in right now?
I'm more than happy. This is my worst track on the calendar. I mean, at least it was last week. I had, by pure coincidence, all the leagues I'm in were racing at Hungary this week. So I had a fair bit more practice than normal. But I felt more confident going into today than I did at this point, say 5-6 days ago. So that was good. But yeah, it was a weird race at points, but also fun. I think I did the absolute best that I could. I just kept in my own race. I did enjoy that double overtake after
Yeah.
the the little collision at turn one near the start. But yeah, I just drove my own race. The safety car came at a good time for me, starting on the mediums, and just kept my cool, kept my head, unlike last week. So yeah, I'm chuffed, very very happy.
Excellent. We saw that final lap. I was kind of expecting an ERS masterclass from you on the last stint there of the final lap, and I was riding on board with you. You didn't seem to be spending any in the first sector. Were you just planning to blitz it on the way out of the final corner and just left it too late, or what was going on there?
No, I had more than a second to catch. I just wanted to finish second because my tires were on, I think, 74 at the end. So I really didn't want to spin, and I didn't want to get a puncture. So I didn't want to risk it to try and catch I mean, let's be honest, insurmountable margin in one lap. So yeah, I was just being cautious and securing
Right.
second because I know I've got a lot of points to catch after last week. But yeah, I just didn't want to risk it, basically.
No worries, no worries. JP, anything for Ghost before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what sort of setup you're running, because obviously you're not. It's not uncommon for you to run slightly lower wings, but it almost looked like if you were running slightly lower wings, it kind of affected the tyres at the end of your stints, to the point where you just couldn't quite keep the pace. Because obviously, if you've got lower wings, you're probably going to be sliding the car around a lot more in the corners.
I mean, I was quite happy with my setup. It was weird, that second stint for me. The way the gap fluctuated, because like at some points for fairly long consistent periods, we were similar in pace. If not, I was a little bit faster. And then it was just like a switch flipped, and then they just speed straight off like 7-8 tenths faster than me, and then a switch would flip again and it would be similar, and then another switch and it would be, so it was weird, that stint for me. I'm not sure quite how I lost pace. I mean, I know my tires were dying at the end, but I didn't feel like I was on edge really. I had a couple of tiny moments, but I never really felt like I was going to bin it into the wall. So yeah, I think I didn't really have the pace, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm perfectly happy with where I finished.
Good stuff. Well, congratulations on another step on the podium. Great race, and it certainly gave us plenty to talk about throughout. JP, did we see Cameron join, or is it just Ghost who's made it?
Cameron has joined, but I do have a little write-up from Kat.
Go for it.
So Kat, obviously, unfortunately, only wanted to join the party. He has said that he had good pace in quali. He was hoping to get ahead by turn one. He did, but obviously Ryan caught him napping on that first lap. He was struggling for grip all the time, qualifying in the race, but the final stint he was quite strong on. It was very close on the tyres, but he felt there was still some more pace to be had come the end. All in all, for him, a bit of a rough race, but he's excited about the pace of the entire grid. The fact it was competitive, and he believes that he was running low wings, but not as low as Ghost, or so it seemed to him on the straight.
Ah, good stuff. Cameron, if you're with us, we'll come to you now, and congratulations to Kat and to Cameron, of course. Just make sure you speak as loudly as you can, or hold your mic close for me this week, if possible. But Cameron, that looked like a much harder race for you than you've had it at the first two races this season.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys can hear me again this time. Yeah, much harder this time. Obviously, starting on the hards didn't work out. That safety car was brilliantly timed for those medium runners. And then, obviously, the only sort of strategy we were left with was the medium to the end. and I think I made as about as good a job as I possibly could. I don't think any higher was ever on the cards from that point on.
So what? How do you explain that? Is it just a bogey track for you? What's the deal?
I think, had we not had the safety car, I think both myself and the people around me, like the likes of Amir and Jasper, Speed Queen as well, I think we would have come back a lot stronger at the end. But that safety car just kind of left us with no choice.
Right.
Obviously, they had their free pit stop. We could either carry on with track position and then be slow at the end, or get to just push the whole race and go on the attack.
Yeah, totally. It was a very difficult timing of that safety car for sure. JP, anything for Cameron this week?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, originally I was going to talk about your strategy, but you kind of covered that a little bit. So my question is, how fun was it going back through the field? Because obviously there's a few nice moves on your way back up through to third. I mean, surely, it's got to put a smile on your face, doesn't it, when you get to have those sorts of battles with those in the mid pack and get to have those sorts of overtaking opportunities.
Yeah, it was really nice to race some people that I don't normally get to race against. I think the highlight was Reshka at the 6-7 chicane.
Right.
Managing to get through there side by side through that chicane. That was good fun.
Yeah, that was a hold your breath moment for us in the comms box as well. We thought that one was going to end very badly, but you managed to cooperate with each other around that one. Yeah. So any standout overtakes or moments for you today that you'd like to call out?
No, I think I said once I got past those two, it was a pretty lonely race. I was just chasing Amir till he's run, and then obviously it was some 14-15 seconds up the road for first and second.
Absolutely,
it was
yeah.
Lonely race after then.
Yeah. Well, congrats on the podium. That's obviously a good run in the first 3 races of the season, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Cheers. Yeah. Hope for it next week.
Yeah, absolutely. JP, any call-out standout performances? We saw MDJ getting driver of the day. He had quite a quiet one. I can't really necessarily agree or disagree with that one. I don't know if you've got any thoughts.
Well, I mean, to a large degree, I do actually agree with the game on MDJ. I mean, he didn't have the greatest qualifying, not really. And sometimes those sorts of races, he just kept his nose clean, didn't really get involved in much. Sometimes whilst you're not the star of the show, as we've seen in we saw a lot of Reshka, a lot of the front 3. Sometimes the best races is ones where you're actually just quiet, no one really knows or to some degree cares about you in the race, because you just silently sneak up on everyone and just go, here I am. So to some degree, yeah, I do agree with the game with MDJ, but I mean, for the battling the top 3, we say the top 4 from about lap 3 and 4 onwards, really. You could say they're all really drivers of the day, because there was a lot of battling and the odd mistake, as you'd probably expect, but generally speaking, very clean battling from everyone.
No, for sure. It was a great one. We've had a lot of fun watching the drivers tonight. Congratulations to our podium. Congratulations to everyone else who managed to stay on track as well. But from us here at Tier 1, we thank you for taking part in the race in whatever way you've managed to, and especially for liking the video on your way out. This is Webbo and JP for Top Tier of the equal performance. Remember that there's realistic performance tomorrow before we do it again next week. And so from all of us here at Tier 1, we'll all catch you on the next race day.